There have been some incredibly weird wars fought in history, and today we're taking a quick look at 6 of them.
Let's dig into this.
You can't talk about weird wars without the Emu War of 1932. After World War I, farming exploded in Australia and encroached on the emu's natural habitat like it hadn't before. The rows of crops and fresh water were an invitation the emus couldn't refuse. After over 20,000 emus had devastated farms for months, a call went out to the Australian military for help.
Troops were dispatched with over 10,000 rounds of ammunition to cull the herds, but no one seems to have thought about how fast emus can move or how well they could hide. The war was called off after a month when almost all the ammunition was gone and less than 1,000 emus had been killed.
Emperor Justinian faced many uprisings, but the Nika riot of 532 was the most dangerous and destructive. Watching chariot races at the Hippodrome in Constantinople was a favorite pastime, and the most popular teams were the Blues and the Greens. When several members of the teams were arrested and hanged for murder, 2 men somehow survived execution and managed to get to a church and claim sanctuary. 3 days later, while the emperor watched races at the Hippodrome, the crowd began to chant for mercy for the men, but got no response.
That night, the riots began, shouting Nika, which meant victory. The crowds started burning buildings, starting with the Praetorium, where the prison was located. When the prisoners were still not released, the Hippodrome was attacked and occupied. The city of Constantinople was devastated, and many of its most beautiful buildings, including the Church of St. Sophia, were destroyed.
Finally, after several days of riots and burning, Justinian ordered soldiers to seal all the exits of the Hippodrome, where the rioters were camped, and end the revolt. None of the 30,000 said to be inside survived.
Greece and Bulgaria had been in a dispute over an area of their shared border for over a decade and had soldiers stationed on the border at certain spots. There are 2 versions of what happened. In October of 1925, setting off an international incident. The Bulgarians said they crossed the Greek border and shot a Greek captain to start a battle.
The Greeks claimed a stray dog that had been befriended by their troops strayed over the border, and the Bulgarians shot the soldier that had been trying to get the dog back. Whatever really happened, the Bulgarians apologized, claiming the shooting had been a misunderstanding. Greece demanded those responsible be punished within 48 hours, and Bulgaria pay the families of the victims a rather large sum in compensation. They also invaded and occupied several areas in Bulgarian territory.
The League of Nations got wind of what was happening and stepped in to try to avoid another war breaking out so soon after World War I had ended, arranging a ceasefire between the sides, but not before as many as 50 were killed in the War of the Stray Dog.
In 1738, sailor Robert Jenkins claimed in formal testimony before Parliament that a Spanish Coast Guard officer had cut off his ear as punishment for smuggling sugar in 1731. He produced a decomposing ear to prove his point, too. Partly due to his shocking testimony, Britain declared war on Spain, and it would become known as the War of Jenkins' Ear.
Britain and Spain had been at war many times, and this conflict was rooted in disputes over territory in the New World between Florida and Georgia and into the Caribbean. Casualties and wounded around 20,000 British and 10,000 Spanish occurred before a peace treaty was finally signed in 1748.
It's a fair bet you've never heard of the Toledo War, fought in 1835 and 1836 between the states of Michigan and Ohio. It was all over a narrow strip of land that both states claimed were theirs. Militias were raised and tensions ran high, as both sides expected each other to invade.
The dispute was only brought to an end when then-President Andrew Jackson intervened. The compromise required Michigan to give up the claim to the Toledo Strip, but the state gained a large part of the Upper Peninsula in exchange.
In 1859, the U.S. and Britain both claimed the area between the state of Washington and Vancouver Island as theirs. In June of that year, American farmer Lyman Cutler shot and killed a British black boar when the animal dug up his potato patch. The British wanted Cutler thrown in prison. The Americans reported the incident to the military, and Captain George Pickett was dispatched to the area with troops.
Pickett immediately declared San Juan Island U.S. property. The British responded by sending warships. The standoff continued through the fall with both sides watching each other while tempers simmered. A compromise was finally reached in October calling for joint military occupation of San Juan Island, and the pig war had only one casualty: the hungry boar who feasted on Farmer Cutler's potatoes.
Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hey, here's another DragonDen video you might like.
And if you like this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button.
And you can hit the notification bell if you'd like to know when our videos come out.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.